Hello everyone and welcome to another SkillCapped guide. In this guide, you will learn 10 of the most common mistakes that every low elo player makes. This information has been curated by the top Valorant players and coaches who have spent countless hours of research to give you the most effective and up-to-date tips that you won't find anywhere else. Remember to click the sub button and the bell icon to keep up to date with the most high-quality Valorant guides that you will find. Even if you're brand new to the FPS genre, I guarantee that you will improve after watching this video. Now to start, let's talk about the most common mistake that I see among basically all players. This mistake is all about bad crosshair placement. Crosshair placement is arguably one of the most important aspects of improving at Valorant. Crosshair placement is defined as where your crosshair is placed at all times while playing. This can be during a fight, or more commonly, is while peeking and holding angles. Many players will hold their crosshairs towards the opponent's body or even legs. This automatically puts them at a huge disadvantage, and let me explain why. First, it's important to understand how powerful headshots are in Valorant. One headshot can kill players depending on what gun you use, so you obviously want to aim for the head. Well, if you're aiming for the head, but your crosshair starts at the enemy's chest, you have to adjust your mouse not only vertically, but also horizontally. This forces you to have near perfect aim while trying to hit a headshot on this player. So instead of having to adjust your entire crosshair vertically and horizontally, you can just always leave your crosshair at about head level. This will help you get the headshots way faster because you don't have to make as many aim adjustments. And with less distance to travel, you will not only be able to be more accurate, but you will also have way faster reaction times. Don't forget though, this is important not only while pushing a sight, but also while normally walking around. You never know when someone will come around a corner, so building that muscle memory of always having your crosshair up at head level is super important. And our next mistake that low elo players make is peeking incorrectly. In Valorant, there are a ton of ways that you can go about peeking angles. I'm going to show you two examples of someone clearing B site on bind. Both of these players are peeking angles and clearing the site differently. One is correct and one is not. Here, we see the first player push through long and check their corners. Then finally, they push towards the site while walking through the open. We then see our second player peek long while walking towards the site, only peeking one angle at a time when possible. They walk towards the site while staying near cover. Could you tell me which one was correct? It was the second example. In this example, we saw the player peek angles one by one. That way, if a player were to peek them, they would be able to isolate that fight and secure a kill. Now, if player 1 gets put in that same position, we see here that they are caught in the open and have to focus on so many angles at the same time while they take this fight. Peeking is a key part to Valorant, and learning how to correctly peek angles will help you take more one-on-one fights that are much more winnable than just running out. Another way you can do this is by jiggle peeking. Put simply, jiggle peeking is a method of peeking that allows you to quickly gather information on where an enemy is without having to actually risk your life. You can execute this peek by walking up to a wall, then quickly clicking back and forth between the A and D keys so that you barely peek out. This will allow you to peek out without putting yourself in too much danger, and even if there is a player on the other side, you can even decide to commit to the fight whenever you want. Peeking one by one and jiggle peeking will give you way more control over your fights. Mastering these tactics will lead to you getting more kills and, most importantly, staying alive much longer. We also actually have an entire guide dedicated to learning peeking, so if you want to know more, click the link down in the description below. Heading into our next mistake, let's talk about trading kills and playing off of teammates. Valorant is a very team-oriented game, and playing it as a solo can be difficult sometimes. But learning how to trade kills and play off your teammates is essential to becoming a high-level player. First, let's talk about exactly what trading kills is. Let's say your teammate pushes site and dies. You then peek out and kill the player that killed them. This is a perfect example of trading a kill. Many times, players will sit back and let their teammates die just to push in later and have the same fate. One of the main reasons that trading kills is so effective is because it puts the enemy in a very difficult situation. Let's use B-site split as an example. Here we see our teammate die at A main from an enemy that is positioned at screens. We then peek this player from elbow and get basically a free kill. This is so easy to do because many times the enemy is not even looking at you when you peek them. Trading kills also helps to keep the team numbers more balanced during a game. It can give your team a 4v4 instead of having to try and fight a 5v4. Finally, let's go over one mistake that players make while trying to trade. Many times I see someone try to trade, but they also just die to that same exact enemy. Now this is usually because of the timing. When you trade, you want to make sure you are not just walking into a death trap. If a player is holding an angle with an op, it is probably a bad idea to slowly peek out to trade the kill. Instead, you want to run out quickly before the player can get another shot off. Try to pay attention to where your teammates die from so that you can easily trade these kills when your enemy least expects it. Our next mistake is one that many players don't think about. This is reloading in the open and near enemies. Reloading is a very important aspect of Valorant that many players don't think about. First, let's talk about when not to reload. To start, I see many new players reload after only shooting a few bullets. They then will reload and end up dying because they are not able to defend themselves. You should only reload when you absolutely need to or when you are completely safe. It only takes a few bullets to kill someone in Valorant, so reloading after only shooting a few is a terrible idea. Another reason people die because of reloading is because of their positioning when they reload. The main idea here is that you don't want to reload in the open. Reloading in the open puts you in an extremely vulnerable situation. If you get peeked while reloading, you will most likely die. This is actually very common to happen also because your reload makes an audio cue. This sound cue happens when you start reloading, and this alerts any enemies that are near you. When they hear this reload, they will peek you because they know they have an absolutely free kill. You can even use this info to get yourself a couple of kills as well. Listen for when other players start to reload and peek them. Next up, let's talk about spike defusal. Many low elo players don't take control of spike defuse situations because they don't know how. Well, I'm going to teach you exactly how you can take control of those situations and win more clutches. In Valorant, the spike takes exactly 7 seconds to defuse with a halfway point of 3.5 seconds. There are a lot of different tactics that you can use when you know this information. First, let's go over the fake defuse. A fake defuse is when you click the defuse button but have no intention to actually defuse the bomb. This is called tapping the bomb. When you tap the bomb, there will be a sound cue that alerts enemies. This will force the enemies to peek you because they need to make sure that you aren't actually defusing the spike. You can tap the bomb and then instantly listen for when the enemy is coming to figure out exactly where they are coming from. You can then peek them from when they least expect it and get a free kill. Our next spike defusal tip is going to be very similar to the last one, but will involve the spike's halfway point. With this strategy, you will defuse the spike to the halfway point and then get off of the defuse and peek the enemy. This will apply pressure to the enemy and will give you more time to look for the enemy before you have to finish the defuse. This is most effective when you know for a fact that the enemy is too far away to kill you before you get to that halfway point. And finally, be sure to always listen for sounds when in clutch situations. The smallest sound could end up winning you the round because you got some crucial piece of information. And our next mistake that we see low-ranked players make all the time is trying to play every single agent. Playing multiple agents randomly is not going to help you improve any faster. The best way to improve fast is by learning one agent at a time. Focus on learning just one agent, and when you feel you've mastered them, you can then change and learn another. This will allow you to learn all of the small things about that one agent, and will also allow you to always be comfortable with your abilities and your role within the team. You can even look at many of the professional Valorant players right now, and you will notice most of them focus on about 3 to 4 agents that they're very good with. For instance, Cloud9 Tint focuses a lot on perfecting his Jet, Raze, and Viper. This is one of the reasons Tins is one of the best Valorant players in the world right now. Obviously, these players have played enough to focus on more than just one agent, but as a beginner player, you're going to want to master one agent before moving on to another. Next up, we have a similar mistake that players make all the time. I frequently see players try to improve their aim and recoil with all of the guns in Valorant. Now, this might seem like a great idea, but trying to perfect every single gun at the same time can be overwhelming. Learning how to control recoil and spray patterns is certainly a good way to improve, but you want to focus on just a couple at a time so that you can easily master them. To start, I would recommend practicing with the Phantom. You can go here to the training ground and shoot at this target. Try to get all of your bullets in the inner circle until you can consistently control the spray. After you learn how to control the Phantom, you can switch to the Vandal and practice with it. Remember, each weapon has a unique spray pattern, so learning each one will take time and dedication. If you manage to learn all of the main weapons, you will no doubt be able to win more gunfights. Next, let's focus a little more on sound. In Valorant, sound is almost as important as sight. The sounds that enemies make can provide you with valuable information that will net you some free kills. On the other hand, other players will use sound against you. This is why mistake number 8 is not shift walking. Shift walking is a key to playing Valorant. While shift walking, you will not make any footstep noises. This allows you to surprise enemies that don't know your location. If you decide to run instead of walk, then you put yourself automatically at a disadvantage. This is because the enemy will know exactly where you are and you will have no idea where they are. Another plus to shift walking is the weapon accuracy. Most guns are still fairly accurate while shift walking. This will allow you to be even more prepared for a fight than if you were running. While you're running, you need to stop when you shoot at the enemy in order to be accurate. Now this contrasts how walking works though. While walking, you can still move a little and remain fairly accurate. And even though you may lose some speed while you shift walk, it is still a great idea in most circumstances. On the other hand though, mistake number 9 is also going to be about shift walking, but this one gets players killed even more. Even though shift walking is almost always a good idea, there are times when it's not. The main time that shift walking is a horrible idea is when you're peeking an angle. We'll refer to this as walk peeking. When you walk peek an angle, the enemy won't hear you, but your shoulder will show before you can actually see the enemy. This will give your opponent a ton of time to react to you peeking, thus putting them at an advantage and you at a disadvantage. Instead of doing this, you actually want to run while you peek it. What you can do is walk up to the wall that you're about to peek. This will allow you to get there without making any noise. Then, you want to let go of shift and peek out normally. In most situations, you won't even actually move far enough to make noise while you peek. You can even use the jiggle peek strategy that we talked about earlier to make sure that you are silent the entire time. Shift walking up to the corner and then jiggle peeking is one of the safest and most silent ways to peek angles without risking your life. Keep this in mind with almost any angle you peek, because you can easily be caught off guard by walking around corners. And our final mistake that we are going to talk about in today's video is players not balancing their economy correctly. The economy in Valorant is comparable but very different to any other game in the genre. The first topic we will talk about is when to buy and when to save. We will define a full buy as having a rifle such as the Vandal and full heavy armor. This costs 3,900 credits total. I see many players full buying as soon as they have enough money, and this can actually be very detrimental to a team if not done correctly. Obviously, having better weapons will improve your chances of winning a round, but buying with your team will improve these chances even more. If only 2 people on your team have enough money to full buy, you should all save. When you save, you're essentially giving up the round in an attempt to win the next round. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible to win a save round, but it is definitely harder. You want to always check your team's economy before buying yourself. This will help your team all play together on these very important buy rounds. Alright, we here at SkillCapped put a ton of work into this guide, making sure to provide you with the most up-to-date and accurate information that you won't find anywhere else. However, none of that would matter without you guys. We'd love to hear which tip helped you the absolute most in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and like the video to get more premium guides just like this one with one goal in mind: helping you become a better player. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching, and good luck, good half, and good game.